Right, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming this afternoon. A couple of bits and pieces to talk about this afternoon. First and foremost, the main release in terms of software from our perspective, this show is actually a freebie, and it's something that I briefly talked about last year, but has now evolved to where we want it to be. I think I'm a bit echoey. Is that better? I think that's probably a bit better. So that freebie is something called Store, which is our online shop stroke download service stroke system for getting free commercial software. The big change in the latest version, which came out this last week, is that you can finally not only download free software, but you can also buy and manage your software online, and that includes the free software, of course, as well. The model is that with Store, you can go online, browse a catalogue of software. I will show you in my apps folder. We obviously don't have an internet connection, so what I can show you is a little bit limited. If we click catalogue, so this was the catalogue as of late last week, and you can see that there's a mixture of free and commercial applications. If you pick a free application, we will pick as an example something like Fade. For example, I don't have a picture for it. Well, we'll stick with Fade for the time being. I'll show you pictures in a minute. You can see here it shows you about the program. You get an overview of what it does, and up to 3 pictures displayed to show you the program in action. You can click on any picture, and it will show you a big version of the screenshot, so you can see what the program is doing. Read about it. See, it links back to the author's website, so you can go back to the author's website, see what's going on. And if you click on the supplier name, you'll get information about the supplier within the program. So if you would click on the really small software company, we would find that in fact the really small software company have not filled in their addresses and things, but they have filled in a web link at the bottom to get back to the site. You'll note throughout the whole of Store we've been trying to be very inclusive of third-party software and non-Archon products in general. You'll even see products that compete with our products on the Store, even free ones. So you can imagine I raised a slight eyebrow when somebody uploaded the Pluto email client, but it's there free for download. So basically, Store is something that we've done for the whole community. Although we're funding the development, and it's cost an arm and a leg to develop, it really has. We're doing this as a community thing and basically giving it away. And we want people to take advantage of it, sign up for the service, use it. Even if you're using free software from it, use the service because it's there and we've developed it. The worst thing possible for happen would be for us to put all that money into developing it and nobody uses it. So we want everybody here, your homework is to go away, sign up for an account and Store. It's totally free and use it to grab software and things. When you click the Get button at the top, this one here, it will download the status window, which is tucked away at the back here. We'll show you a percentage completed bar that will go across, and once the program is downloaded, it will open, and you can literally just double click on it to run whatever you've downloaded. More complicated files may have a README file that tells you actually how to install it, but we've always designed it, and we advise suppliers very much, the program should be ready to go. On version 1.0, you now have a user profile. I'll bring it to the front. You can see that we have a login button. You can create a new account or log into an existing account and remember your details. Creating an account on the service simply means that you can take advantage of the server facilities for logging what you've downloaded and quickly accessing those and getting update notifications and the like. Once you're logged in, you will have, I'm afraid I can't show you logging in, you'll see the My Software button which will become active. That provides you with a personalised list of all the software that you've downloaded or software that you've bought. If you download something and you don't like it, you want to get rid of it, you just click on the delete icon, off it goes. The only thing you can't delete are software that you paid for, because if you deleted software you paid for, it'd be hard to get you actually go and physically download it again. We don't want to ever lose access to something you paid for. But if you download a free application, then if you decide you don't want to be notified about it, just delete it from the list. The My Software list looks very much like the software catalogue, but obviously with just the items that you want. Obviously free applications are just listed there free, much the same way as they are. There you just grab them as and when you want. The list of software is stored server-side, so whichever computer you log into, you will see your My Software list on that computer. So for example, let's say you're using a RISC PC on Ionix, you download the software that you want, and you go out and you buy yourself a Raspberry Pi or ARM and a virtual Acorn, you load Blinstore on that. Raspberry Pi actually has Blinstore preloaded on it, as do our machine, of course. Just log into your account, and all your favourite software will be there listed in the Blinstore, and you can just grab them straight down from Blinstore onto your new machine. So very convenient. And of course, this also solves the question about how on earth do you get software to users who've just got a Raspberry Pi with no CD drive, no SD cards or whatever, easy media. I mean, you can swap sort of in and out an SD card on a Raspberry Pi, but it's a bit of a fiddle and a bit of a pain. Or with Blinstore, you can get your software, download it, and indeed buy software online and have access to it on whichever machine that you want. So you will also see that we have commercial applications on the store. Obviously a lot of our comp and RCI ones, but we also have things that people like David Pilling have this software on there. You'll see, if I scroll down, you've got things like the Senior Nominee stuff, More Desk, Ovation Pilling, and so on. I was talking to Martin Burton this morning with his group who was like artworks and his range of products on the store. And so you'll be able to select a product. You'll notice that some of them are actually marked down from the normal RRPs, and I do intend to actually do some nice pricing on Blinstore downloads over the next few weeks to get people into the idea of being able to buy software through the store. And here you'll actually see that we've got some pictures for this product, and we can click on the picture and see the large version. The pictures download in the background as needed, so when you first go into the page, you'll see placeholders and they'll fill in when they come. At the top, you see this product has a get and a buy. The get is greyed out. That's because there's no demo available for this product. If a product has a demo available, you'll also see a get or a demo button there. You'll also see the buy button. If I click the buy button, in this case, because I'm offline, it's telling me I can't buy it through Blinstore for obvious reasons. If I were online, and if I were logged in, it would then prompt me to either use stored card details that are stored on your machine, or enter your card details and payment. Now this is quite important because the reason why it's taken so long to develop is the amount of security put into handling people's credit cards, because that is obviously an absolutely critical thing for something like this. The key and most tricky thing that we've had to develop is a system whereby no details are ever stored on any of our servers, any place through the procedure. So the only place your credit card details are ever stored is on your own personal machine. The only time we ever see them is when we're actually about to put them through the credit card machine at the end, where we need to see them to actually process them as part of our card arrangement with the card suppliers. But at every point through the system, they're never stored in any database. They are kept encrypted at every stage. And the only way we can unencrypt them at the other end, without giving too many details away, we have a 3-stage unencryption process. Not only do we have to use specialist software, we can unencrypt them with specific IP addresses, and only then by inputting specific passwords. So we've gone to extreme lengths to make sure that the whole procedure of purchasing a piece of software is secure. For example, if you choose to save your credit card details for the future so that you don't have to type them in each time, Instead of storing it on a lot of services, you'll store it on their database in the cloud, and if they get hacked, good luck. In Plinstore, the only places that it will allow you to store it are either your choice of a location on your hard disk, or in the choices, boot choices folder. The reason we do that, and we actually encourage you to pick your own location, is that way you know exactly where the information is. The file is stored encrypted on the disk, not in a readable format that you can straight away look at, and you know exactly where it is and what it is, so that you have total control over your own personal details. That, to us, is very important with building the trust in Plinstore, because obviously if we're going to offer an online ordering service, we need to have one that people can feel comfortable and confident in. So, in fact, it's very much like ordering a piece of software over the phone in the actual way that credit card information is handled, in that it's not stored anywhere in the cloud or what have you. When you purchase something, you'll actually see that it changes to a status of awaiting authorization. That also gives you an option to cancel if you wish, because when the details come to us, we don't run them through the card machine necessarily immediately. There's a human element to ensure that we can filter out bogus orders and control systems. And it means that if you have a sudden panic and you wish you hadn't ordered it, you can phone us up and say, "Oi!" And you can still back out at that point. Once we've run the card through a payment machine, it's then activated, and you'll see the status change automatically to awaiting download. Then, once you've downloaded it, it will change again to bought and downloaded. That doesn't mean you can't download it again. That simply means that you know you've actually downloaded a piece of software. So if you're looking down the list and thinking, "What did I actually get around to downloading it?" you'll know you did, because it will actually say paid and downloaded. And then once it's bought and paid for, it's logged into the system. You've got a unique transaction ID that is only tied to your purchase. And that piece of software can then be downloaded exclusively from your account on any machine that you then log Plinstore into. The only restriction that we put on it is to avoid people just handing out the software details to all and sundry and say, "Just log in with my details and download it." That we do limit the amount of downloads you can do in a given period of time. I think it's like 5 downloads a month or something like that, on the grounds that, quite frankly, that will if you need to download it more than 5 times in a given month, then probably you shouldn't have a single digital license in the first place. But if anybody wants to query that with us, we're quite open to help. So basically, what we've tried to develop is a system that provides a range of RISC OS software and a range of quality RISC OS software available either for free or for download, with no pressure to buy download but paid for software. It's not like services like Steam or some other online services where they really push the commercial software out and can hide any free stuff. We're very much putting the free stuff up. It's stuff from across the marketplace, so there's no sort of Archon bias in terms of what we're offering. And we've made it very easy for suppliers to put their stuff up. It's all done through a simple web interface, and you just literally click add app and drag your application in, as it were, and then just click send, and it will add it to the service. And then once you've got your software on there, it's yours to download and keep and use, and what have you. The other thing that Plinstore does, which is something we quite often get asked, is listing latest versions of software. Because Plinstore, you can see, if I just close this fireworks window, you'll see that every program has its latest version number listed on the store. And as long as suppliers do actually update their thing, which is always, I know it's quite a problem. But as long as suppliers give it, you'll always see the latest version of the software. So if you want to know what the latest version of Messenger Pro is, you just scroll down the list for Messenger Pro, and there it is at the bottom, and you can see that the latest version of Messenger Pro is 7.06. If you bought it through Plinstore, and I should add that we're actually looking to ways in the future that you'll be able to, if you already own the products, you'll be able to just register them on the store to take advantage of this without having to buy them again. It'll be in your My Software, and it will actually notify you of the versions that are available in My Software, so you'll be able to see what versions of things you should have. And then if you feel you're out of date, you can click on it and download it. It will also log which versions you've downloaded previously, and and then if a version gets updated, it will know there's a new version available, and then it can notify you, change colours and things to indicate that there are new versions available to you in the system. So Plingstore is live now. You can download it from its website, which is www.plingstore.org.uk. Plingstore.org.uk. Yes. It is in the COMSIS Acorn announcement. It is supplied in every Raspberry Pi disk image. It is supplied with every Harmony X. And I think practically every other RISC OS distribution that's around. So you shouldn't have too much difficulty getting hold of it. The Plingstore itself is free to use, so there's no ties or lock-ins. You don't have to create your account with a password, with a credit card like you do with iTunes. It's totally free to use, so we'd urge you to do so. That's available now. So that's the Plingstore. That's obviously occupied quite a lot of our time over the last year. But of course, we've been doing quite a lot besides that. Obviously, the core favourite applications like Messenger Pro and things have been developing quietly in the background. I haven't actually got a new release of Messenger Pro to show this time, but there is actually a new version of beta that does some more fancy stuff with foreign character sets. It's now actually possible to compose emails in, say, Japanese or what have you, if you want to, on a RISC OS machine, and send email in Japanese from RISC OS. I appreciate that probably 99% of you are going to say, well, I don't want to write emails in Japanese. But you can imagine that if RISC OS is going to have an audience outside of the UK, you need to have a system that can do emails in non-UK character sets. So this is quite a major step forward as far as RISC OS is concerned. Not only can you view content and view emails that are written in foreign characters, but you can also now compose and create content in foreign characters and send that content to other people in the world. So that's basically it's finished, but and certainly there are people using it, but the programmer hasn't sent me the final source code dump of the changes that he's made for that, so that's just sort of waiting in the wings for the final source code drop. So I would expect that to be out by Christmas. So Messenger Pro ticking over. Indeed, most of the applications of ours have had small little bumps over the last few months. But most of my time seems to have been taken up building computers, and as you know, we do the Harmony X, the Harmony, the RISC Cube, the RISC Book, and so on. The Harmony X this time is celebrating its first birthday. We launched it at this show last year, and now it's having its first birthday. And to celebrate that, we've done a bundle of a lot of our software applications, things like Fireworks Pro, Messenger Pro 7, Safe Store, and all sorts of goodies on that bundle. That's supplied free of charge with any Harmony X that's bought from the couple of, we're offering it for a couple of months, so people need time to think about it. You're going to get about 300 quid worth of software free of charge. But existing owners are not left out. It's perfectly possible if you're an existing owner and you want to buy the CD, we're offering the CD for 45, 49 or something like that to existing owners of Harmony, so that they can benefit too from getting a whole heap of software. And one of the programs that's on there is Data Power Home, which is worth practically what we're asking for the CD on its own, and you're getting another sort of 250 quid worth of software free with that. So it's a pretty good deal. Because obviously we don't want existing owners to feel like they're missing out on some of the things that we're offering to new customers, because there's nothing worse than being a long-term loyal customer of somebody and then turning around and telling you can't have the goodies that some new person who's just come is going to get. Harmony X is, to the best of my knowledge, the fastest and most advanced RISC OS computer that you can currently buy. I believe it's the only one to use the very latest motherboards and the highest speed disks for improved performance. This means that things like email and databasing are massively faster than they were previously on things like the original Harmony, up to a factor of 10 times faster. This particular machine is actually a prototype, so it's not as fast as the shipping machines. But you can see if we do things like the classic Artworks Apple, blazingly fast. Indeed, if we load artworks too, you'll see that we actually need to create about half a dozen apples before we can actually get any sensible measuring of speed. If we go to show demo, applications, indeed, before we actually get any noticeable hit performance. Not only does the Harmony-X run all your current software, like Artworks, but it runs all your legacy, or vast majority of your legacy software as well. So if we go to the legacy folder on here, you'll find there are two things, Emular Pro and Acorn Mode. If we look at Emular Pro first, we have a copy of Impression Publisher on here. You can see that loads and runs no problem. Jim Nagel kindly provided me with a copy of an archive issue. It's 2212, which is an entire issue of archive in full quality. Probably about as complex an impression document as you could realistically be doing, and you can see that the only things it tends to sort of slow down on tend to be sort of more complicated artworks files, and that's only because of the anti-aliasing levels we've got set. So for example, this particular graph is a touch slow, and the entire reason for that is if we go to Utilities, View, Quality, Normal rather than anti-alias, it's trying to anti-alias every single data point on these graphs, and you can see that once I took that off, those graphs just fly by. So, the only thing that's causing even any vague problem is a sort of data graph with literally thousands and thousands of data points that were being individually anti-aliased, and even then it was incredibly fast. So you can see even legacy applications like Artworks, like Impression, are proving no problem on your Harmony-X. Of course, not everything is quite so straightforward as Impression. What happens if you want to run legacy programs like on video games or some of the old full screen applications that you ran back in the 80s and 90s? Well, we have a solution for that too. If we go to Acorn Mode, to be fair, I have no idea whether this will work with the projector, so if it doesn't, please come and have a look at it on the stand. But Acorn Mode basically provides you with a RISC OS 3.1 environment to operate your applications in. As you know, we're licensed with both Castle and RISC OS Limited to do the machines, and that means we have the ability to run RISC OS 3.1 on a Harmony-X. Well, as I say, I genuinely don't know what will happen in terms of legal register. Yeah, I don't think that's very happy. No. Okay, I think we're going to need to do a control break at that point. Switch. Okay, so the projector doesn't particularly like Acorn Mode. So I will just talk you through that. Essentially, Acorn Mode provides you with a RISC OS 3.1 environment that you can run legacy applications in. For example, old video games, things like Swerve Lemmings and things like that, but quite happily in Acorn Mode. It can also be used to run things like Sibelius running in it. We've had Reptile almost certainly works in it. You can probably run Reptile through Angular, to be honest with you, but pretty much any legacy RISC OS application will run quite happily through Acorn Mode if needs be. And we've actually done some clever stuff with Acorn mode, so you can even run programs that need to print through that system, because we include a special version of Uniprint in it that will allow you to print to sprites, which can then be just drag to your printer icon on your icon box, print them out through your RISC OS desktop. So even programs that you need to print from the old world can be done through Acorn mode. So that basically means that we can run applications that date right back into sort of BBC type era through the sort of more sort of RISC PC stroke Ionic level software, and of course the most recent software as well, all as part of capabilities of the ARM-NEX system. So the ARM-NEX really does represent a machine that can run the vast majority of RISC OS software produced. Obviously that doesn't mean that we aren't doing our RISC cubes. We still sell probably just as many RISC cubes, if not slightly more, as compared with ARM-NEX's RISC cubes. The RISC cubes provide both RISC OS and Windows on the same computer, so for some people who are sort of working in business or what have you, the RISC cube still represents the best all-round computer solution for them, because they can run their RISC OS applications and still have access to the Windows things that they need for work, or more advanced web browsing of Windows or whatever they need. So we do sort of, I'd say probably about 50-50 of the two kinds of machines. And we have both at the start, so I wouldn't bore you too much with the RISC cube stuff, because I have talked about it many times before. But I don't want people to think that we're not doing one now that we're doing the other. It's very much that we have two products for two distinct audiences. There are some people who must have an ARM processor in it and do not want anything Intel or Windows or anything anywhere near their computer. And I completely understand that, because that was how I was for the longest time. So I completely understand that philosophy. And we have the ARM-NEX for that audience, and you know, brilliant computer. We also have the RISC cube computer for the sort of more pragmatic approach that they want to be able to run the software. How it runs, as long as it runs and it runs well. RISC cube gives you access to a vast range of software with RISC OS on the same machine. So it's two different mindsets. One focuses on the fact that does it run RISC OS at all, and can I run my RISC OS applications, and does it run them well? Yes, that's the RISC cube. Other people, the actual processor and parts that are inside the machine are very, very important to them. But they must run RISC OS natively on an ARM processor. And for that audience, we have the ARM-NEX. And they're both very valid approaches. You know, in the past, there's been sort of conflict between the two camps, and other things that there needs to be. People have a distinct view on what they want. And it's quite rare that people are sort of in two minds, because you generally have an idea of what you're wanting to do with a computer. And you know whether you need to have a big compatibility with Windows, or whether you've got that with a work PC already, and therefore you just want to get a RISC OS machine to run RISC OS as fast and everything as possible. So, positives for courses, each machine ready to go. Otherwise, things have been a bit quiet of late, because we've had a few family problems recently. We had a death in the family, but actually on the day of the Portsmouth show, which was rather unfortunate. So we've been a bit at 6s and 7s since then, but things are getting a bit back to normal now. So we should have some exciting news about various projects in the next, sort of the run up to Christmas. So do watch this space. And do come and have a look at the things on the stand. I haven't mentioned, but definitely come and see, we have called the ARM-in-1, which is a all-in-one computer system where you get the monitor, it has a RISC OS computer built into the system, literally one power button to turn it on and off, and the whole system comes on, boots into RISC OS with that button to turn it off. Shut it down, use it with a wireless keyboard and mouse, and you've got a very sort of portable, elegant, all-in-one RISC OS solution for a very competitive price. I think, sort of, including the screen, you're looking at sort of £350-ish pounds, which is quite a good deal, I think. We're also offering things like our Raspberry Pi and Pandaland support schemes, which provide you with high-speed disks, lots and lots of software, technical support, forums, regular operating system updates and things for the different boards if you want to take a DIY approach. For example, for ARM-NEX, we just wanted to do firmware update this last week, which was just drag and drop it on. So a month or two before that, we had a new operating system. If you remember our Pandaland scheme, you get all of this automatically. I just showed you, for example, how simple it is to upgrade the operating system on our machines. If we go to Panda, I might need to stick my pen drive in thinking about it. Yes, I think it's actually on my pen drive, so I'm just taking a right to quick search and bag of history. Stick in our pen drive. Wait for it to explode. There it is. And that's upgrade. This is what you download. You'll see that it tells you about what's new in this particular upgrade. This particular one added the ability to scale the processor depending on load, so that it would run cooling, minimal energy consumption when idle, and then speed up to full whack when needed. It also sorted out an issue that we had previously with shutting down and rebooting, that the reset button didn't reset. What it does now is the new update. And literally all you have to do, I'm not actually going to do it because this machine's already got it in, but you can see there's an upgrade OS button. You just click the upgrade OS button, and Bob's your uncle. It takes less than 5 seconds, and it'll prompt you to reboot. Job done. And then you're up to the latest version of the operating system. Also, it keeps a copy of the previous one, so if you have any problems, you can just restore last OS, and you can roll back to the previous upgrade. If you have any issues at all, not that we'd expect you to do so, but you've got that option. You can see, it's just got the instructions, you can click changes, you'll see the list of changes, sort of smart boot, scaling, new reset implementation, faster boots up, fixes for international stuff, USB device handling, and various network-related improvements. So there's quite a bit of stuff in that operating system upgrade. And you just click Upgrade OS. We have a similar process for Raspberry Pi, if you remember our Pi Plus support scheme. Whereas, with the Raspberry Pi, generally if you want to update your disk image, you kind of have to reflash a whole new disk image. It's kind of annoying if you've got files and things on your disk. It's all a bit of a palaver. If you remember the Pi Plus support scheme, you just download the latest upgrade tool, it will update your Pi disk. We actually supplied a high-speed 16 gig disk, which makes your Pi very much faster for things like email databases or anything that's disk. You just click Upgrade OS, boom, same thing. Even firmware for the Pi gets updated with that at the same time. And any modifications to boot and things that need, does all of it. Just click Upgrade OS. And again, if you don't like it, roll back, boom, and can restore it back to the previous firmware and so on. So very elegant, very simple. And again, for the general disk content upgrades, drag and drop operations to upgrade your disk content. So everything is done in a way that makes it very easy to upgrade, keep up to date. The supported standardized versions. We have mailing lists to let people discuss the products and if they have any problems. You have telephone and email support as well. So, even if you're not buying one of our machines, I strongly recommend that you check out the support schemes, simply because they provide an awful lot of content and value, and lots of software to download. I mean, the Raspberry Pi disk contains nearly a gig of software. A lot of it custom things, some ex-commercial software, commercial software, lots of goodies. So please do check it out. Right, I'm going to stop there, because I've been going on for a long time. If anyone has any questions, please do ask.
Install.
Go for it.
It will handle upgrades as well as purchasing the initial software.
Right, at the moment, it just tracks version numbers. The sort of next upgrade that we should be doing, basically, it also updates when you log on, so it's very easy to do pretty minor updates. But the next thing that we should be doing is the actual sort of pop-up windows to say, "Oi, new version of the available."
But I'm thinking you want to purchase an upgrade rather than purchase
purchasing an upgrade. Right, at the moment it's full price software, but again we'll be tackling that when there are upgrade versions to be dealt with. At the moment, like almost every store in the world, if you look at iTunes or Steam, you can only buy full version software, not upgrades. So at the moment we still have that limitation, but I am very well aware that the RISC OS world works on upgrades rather than. It is probably the top priority to sort out. What the plan is to do is, where a program has a commercial thing, at the moment it's a safe tracks version, so what we can do is say if the version number the user has is version, say 3.7 or earlier, then the price is set tiers essentially. So that's the safe message. You can say if the user has version 6, the price is this, if the user has version 5, and it can then compare it to the list and figure out what it will be. And that will just be done through the web interface where you currently set the price, you'll be able to set the upgrade prices as well on that. It's more of a user interface thing to actually get done on the server rather than actually really difficult within the program. Something that was always planned for. But most of the last 6 months development has been on this sorting out the security element, which is we actually had around the same sort of time we were working on what's called PCI compliance checks with the online service, and so they were able to give us huge volumes of information about what they wanted in order for things to be approved in terms of how we did things and who was allowed to access it, why they were allowed to access, under what conditions they could access it, all this kind of thing. So it was kind of insane, but that's what. So the main priority was to allow people to be able to purchase things through the store, but then we are well aware that upgrades are very much going. Let's be honest, the Archon business model is one of sort of upgrades every couple of years. So even if only for our own stuff, we need to get that working. But people like Martin Burton also works very heavily on upgrade rather than conversions. The other thing that I plan to do, again, it's really a case of time how presented to users, is a method whereby users will be able to, if you already own an Archon product, let's say, you'll be able to get unlock codes to unlock your Archon products on CleanStore. So rather than having to purchase them again, you'll just simply say, well, I already own message processing, NetFetch, GrabFi, DataPower, and we'll say, fine, here's your unlock codes, and you can unlock those on store, and that way you'll have access to your existing library of software that you've got physically on disk, but have them electronically on CleanStore. It's obviously a lot more convenient because you can get access to them at any point in time without having to figure out how to fit a floppy drive into a Raspberry Pi. I imagine that we could be doing that. I've got a crude idea that I can do almost straight away, which is simply to say, to tell users that, hey, we know you've got this, so if you just want to order it, just click buy now, we just want the process your card details and that through the system. But maybe we'd like to do it a little bit more elegant than that. But that's certainly planned. I'll be honest, I'm toying with the thought that we may offer a sort of fixed price £10 upgrade to get yourself on that, because we actually have to go through and check you've got every item. So how we're going to do it. It will be probably a 15-minute job for each person for us to do. So I'm erring towards thinking maybe a 10 flat. No matter how many products you've got, it'll be 10 quid to activate them on the store or something like that. It's only just to help us with the development costs. I mean, it costs thousands and thousands to get this up and running. So, you do it as a charity gesture to a point, but there comes a point where you kind of like to get a little bit back. Sorry.
Somebody else in here for
Right. Oh, right.
One further question. How does this work with the packaging, RISC packaging?
Basically, it's different. There's some talk, I've been in talks with the person who does the RISC packaging. I'd quite like to see back the RISC packaging project and to merge it into CleanStore. But I'm well aware that the two are quite different at the moment, and we've got an eye towards that in the future, but our priorities are perhaps a little different to the packaging manager priorities at the moment. And as we get our priorities knocked off the list, then I think we'll sort of see a convergence of the two.